Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery with IIMFL and Smart Money Alliance. It's nice to visit with you this morning. It's 7:59 a.m. Central on Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. As you likely know, we get together at this time most Mondays through Fridays, subject to holiday schedules or the occasional travel interruption. But we get together with our distribution partners to talk strategy, best practices, share success stories and such. We have three primary types of distribution partners. We have affiliates. Who wouldn't want to be an affiliate? It's free, it's easy, there's no selling involved, there's no cost involved, and it's an opportunity to help others and earn a good side income. So affiliate is role number one. Role number two is the small business virtual incubator joint venture partner. That's a mouthful, so we'll just call it a joint venture partner. Our joint venture partners, unlike affiliates, are actively involved with working with clients. Because again, affiliates just refer in and get paid. Joint venture partners do more, but they get paid a lot more, and they have the pleasure of actually working with the clients through the capital raise process. Thirdly, we have our credit literacy educators. Our credit literacy educators are rather niche players. They're focused on helping individuals, whether they're small business owners or not, boost credit. We had a great training yesterday. If you didn't view, you might want to. Credit boost has nothing to do with credit repair, but instead it's adding new positive trade lines to rapidly increase personal credit scores, on average 100 points in 30 to 60 days. So yesterday we had a real thorough training on credit boost. Today we're going to piggyback off of that and talk about best practices and success strategies. So rather you're a credit literacy educator and you're using this as your sole arrow in your quiver, or even if you're a joint venture incubator and this is one of the arrows in your quiver, I want to talk about some best practices that we've seen be very effective. So again, what we're not going to do is be redundant and go through the whole credit boost story. That was yesterday. So when you become a credit literacy educator and or a joint venture incubator partner, then we can create a landing page for you. This is an example of a landing page. It's what you see here on the screen. It's meant to be very simple. It keeps from distracting the prospect. So you'll have a unique URL that we'll provide you. It'll be similar, but different than this. It'll be unique to you. We'll also create a marketing flyer for you that will include that. On the landing page, then it simply has the tagline, boost your credit scores by 100 plus points in just 30 to 60 days. And then there's an embedded YouTube video. The embedded YouTube video describes to the prospect how the credit boost program works. So you can use this just as it is, drive people to your landing page, and we'll talk about some best practices for that in just a moment. But you can just drive people to your landing page and they can watch this YouTube video, embedded YouTube video here, or you can actually set up some webinars, just like we've talked about in other trainings, where you can go into Eventbrite, create a registration portal, which is free for upcoming webinars, drive people in, you open up the conversation, open up the webinar, play the embedded YouTube, and then close it out. So now you're educating and reaching a larger audience. And again, we'll talk more about best practices for that in a moment. But the point is, you get point number one, you get a landing page. Point number two is it's coded specifically to you, so they don't have to remember to put referred by. And third, it includes the embedded YouTube video, which tells the story. And so some of you are very proficient communicators, some maybe not so much, but if you allow the tool to describe the offering, you'll be more consistent. We can make sure that we're transparent with the clients, and you won't get tired, because if you have to tell the same story over and over and over and over, it'll wear you out. There's so many small business owners and individuals with jacked up credit that could benefit from this. Enrolling 100 clients a month in Credit Boost is very attainable. But if you're telling that story yourself with your own breath, your own effort, 100 times or more a month, you might get a bit tired of that. So let's consider using the tool. Also, in the landing page, we collect just 3 basic pieces of information from the client or from the prospect: their name, their email, their phone. And again, I know we're not asking who referred you, because we don't need to. Your landing page will be unique and will be coded to you. There's a brief description of the value proposition at the bottom, which is, of course, outlined more so in the YouTube. So, landing page, you see, you know that it'll be branded to you. Let's talk about some advanced strategies of how to drive people to your landing page, which is more the focus of today's discussion. Keep in mind, for instance, we have 2 of you today that looks like that you're going to drive in around 100 Credit Boost clients this month. Certainly, each individual name, email, and phone can be put in here. But if you already have a leads list that includes name, email, and phone number, you can submit that to us in a spreadsheet. And so we can do what's called a batch list. And then we can upload all of those into DocuSign, and then all of those 100, for example, everyone on the list will be, of course, coded to you, but they'll get the DocuSign without having to put name, email, and phone number in 100 times. So if you have a big leads list, then we can expedite it, and you don't have to put 100 names, 100 phone numbers, 100 emails into this. We would just simply need a spreadsheet with 3 columns. Column 1, name; column 2, email; column 3, phone number. So that's important to understand. For those of you that are dealing with bigger numbers, we can make it more efficient than just the 1 by 1, which you see here. The second topic that we want to discuss within this of best practices of promoting Credit Boost, and a couple of us had this discussion yesterday individually, not on the group call, is that you always want to be looking for key influencers. So it could be the car salesman at the local car lot. It could be the rep at the model home in the local new community. It could be the manufacturer home rep, as we talked about at Clayton Homes or at Palm Harbor Homes. It could be any key influencer, as well as business bankers or whomever. The point that I'm trying to make is, if you reward them for referring to you, then you'll be more important to them. How would you do that? Well, essentially, you could let them know, hey, Joe, if you would refer someone, well, first they need to understand who you are and what the Credit Boost does. So let's assume that they understand that. And if you want me to role play that out, I can. But specifically, once they understand what we do, when you're asking for referrals from them, you could say, hey, Joe, we have a great referral program. And what we can do is pay you on average $100 for each referral that you send us that goes through the Credit Boost program. What do you think? Well, that's enough to get the average Joe of the world pretty motivated, because all that average Joe needs to do is drop the name, email, and phone number into your landing page or whatever mechanism you want the Joes of the world, the referral sources, to refer to you. Cost you nothing if the client doesn't go through Credit Boost. But if the client goes through Credit Boost, essentially what you most likely would want to offer the referral source is $1 to $2 per credit point increase. So that way you're never at risk. So notice we said, Joe, you'll get around $100, because we know on average, the average client will see about a 100-point increase in 30 to 60 days. You know, as a joint venture incubator partner or as a credit literacy educator, you're making $5 per point. So you know that you've got a budget of around $500 to work with per client. Now, 500 is not guaranteed, right? Because their credit score could be more, it could be less, but we're just going to use 500 as the average. So if you allocated part of that to generate referrals, $1 to $2 per point, you're still making a lot of passive income. And now you have other people that are motivated to feed leads into you. And so we have a call today, EJ and I do, with a big, significant referral source that'll probably generate hundreds of referrals per month. And that's exactly what we're going to propose to him this morning after this call. So as a credit literacy educator and or joint venture incubator manager, it's your responsibility to take the message out to the marketplace. You can use Craigslist ads, you can post on social media, but certainly you can reach out to key influencers. And if you financially motivate the key influencers, they're going to be more likely to keep you top of mind. It doesn't create any fixed cost to you. It's a variable cost. So based upon the number of clients that they bring you and the capital raise that's generated. In those cases, though, you're making that side deal with the referral source. We aren't. We're paying you. You're getting $5 per point increase. That's our deal with you as either a joint venture incubator partner and or a credit literacy educator. My point is, if you wanted to share some of that with third parties to motivate them to fill your funnel, that would be a smart thing to do. And then secondly, we also illustrated that if you work with a referral partner or even yourself, you have a large list of prospects. You don't need to drop each one in over and over and over and over 50 or 100 or 250 times. We can get a spreadsheet from you. We can upload those and make it more efficient for everyone. So then let's just also cover what happens. So once a lead is submitted, then we're going to send a DocuSign to them. In most cases, you'll be copied on that. So don't be confused. We've had some of you come back and say, well, why'd you send me the Credit Boost DocuSign? I referred Joe. Well, sure, you referred Joe, but you're copied on it. So that lets you know that the Credit Boost contract went out via DocuSign. And then once Joe executes it and we execute it, then you get a final executed copy. So that's great. You know when your referral sources have signed up because you will get an executed copy of the Credit Boost DocuSign. You might say, well, I never got an executed copy of the Credit Boost DocuSign. Then, and you can always ask us, but 99 out of 100 times what that means is, well, they never signed it, right? Because DocuSign's not going to make a mistake. It's going to send you an executed copy once all parties have signed it. Now, you don't sign it as a referral source. You're not a party to the agreement. You're the referral source. You get paid, but you're not mentioned in the agreement. So let's dig into the questions that any of you have, regardless of your role. So let's say you're just an affiliate. We got some affiliates on the call. If you're just an affiliate and you're trying to decide, hey, should I become a credit literacy educator or not? This is a great time to discuss that. Conversely, if you are a credit literacy educator, this is kind of serving as your onboarding. I want to make sure that you understand what you need to do and some best practices. And then also if you're a joint venture incubator partner, how this applies to you. So we've got some great minds on the webinar. We've got Anne Marie, we've got Anthony, Barry, Beatrice, Kwong, David, Dion, Edward, Joseph, Mark, Monique, Robert, Victor, Will, and others. What questions, concerns, what lack of clarity do any of you have regarding the Credit Boost process? So if you'll start typing those in to the Q&A, it's like a chat box on Zoom. We're going to go through those. Most of the time for today's Zoom is allocated to answering your questions because each of you should be able to generate at least 10 of these deals a month. And those of you that are very good should be able to generate 100 Credit Boost clients a month. If you do the math on that, it's pretty good. Let's just say you're at the low end, you're a low performer. 10 Credit Boost clients, let's get the calculator out so I don't make any mistakes. I was a high school teacher, but I didn't teach math, so I don't want to make any mistakes here. So at the low end, if you generated in 10 Credit Boost clients a month, so you're kind of a bottom dweller in production, and you made on average $500 per, then that's an extra $5,000 a month income if you're pretty bad at promoting Credit Boost. Now, if you're more of an exceptional performer, now you're doing some of these strategies that we've talked about, casting a wider net. Now you're at the upper end. Now you're having 100 conversions a month, which several of you are going to apparently hit that this month. And so if you're generating 100 times 500 is $50,000 earned in a given month. I was a public high school teacher with 2 master's degrees, and I barely made 50,000. Each of you can make as much as I worked for a year as a public school teacher in 1 month by promoting the Credit Boost program. All right, so we got to get into your questions. Okay, so Robert's asking about a leads list. In terms of the Credit Boost, we've got to decide where that leads list is coming from. So we have access to databases. And so there are 2 types of databases: consumer database and then small business database. The small business database, typically we harvest leads from it, Robert, to market the Access to Capital program, which is not what we're talking about right now. And that's usually focused on newly formed businesses, newly formed LLCs, DBAs, C Corps, and S Corps to reach out to. We can filter on things like being home-based or not. We can also run a leads list off of existing businesses and attempt to filter those that have bad credit. The way that it's set up, the database is really set up not to filter off who has bad credit, but who has good credit. So conversely, I guess if you don't have good credit, then you probably have bad credit. But the lead model for Credit Boost is different than the Access to Capital. The Access to Capital is laser focused on small businesses, pre-launch, startup, and existing that are looking for capital. The leads list, the database, serves a perfect use there. I don't know that the lead sources will be quite the same for the Credit Boost, but we are happy to provide you a leads list if you're a joint venture incubator and or a credit literacy educator that you can try on the Credit Boost. Just send an email over and we'll process that. Thank you, Robert. Okay, David asks, he wants to clarify, is the educator included in the joint venture incubator role? Yes, sir. So the joint venture incubator role is kind of that overall top level position where we're doing a 50-50 revenue split on the different services, programs, and resources offered. So David, if you became a joint venture incubator, then that includes being a credit literacy educator. And of course, what we would encourage you to do, David, as a joint venture incubator partner, is to build a team of a sales team or business development team or community education team, whatever you want to call them, that's tentacles spreading the word out into the marketplace. Thank you, David, for that. Anna Marie asked, do we think that Craigslist is a good source for promoting the Credit Boost program? I think it is. And I think Craigslist works well for any offerings that do not have an upfront cost. If anything that has an upfront cost, I'd be hesitant to put on Craigslist because it's going to be met with too much scrutiny. It's not the most credible way to reach the marketplace for a fee-based service, but for a no advance fee service like Credit Boost, I do think that you could post it on Craigslist. You might say, well, what would I post? Well, this could be your tagline. We've provided down here the talking points that you could put in the balance of the ad, and you could play around with the different categories and such. But what you have to decide is, what's the call to action that you want from the prospects coming from Craigslist? Do you want to drive them into your landing page? That's one option, and obviously you'll have a unique landing page. The other would be, if you're trying to lead through education, you may try to drive them into your Eventbrite to attend a webinar. either one of those would be fine. I wouldn't just feed them into a recorded version of the YouTube, because that's not going to tie them specifically to you, Anna Marie. Thank you for that question. All right, Dion's talking about targeting specific industries. And so that makes sense, is to identify certain industries and really embed yourselves in that industry. And we have one distribution partner. His focus is a specific trade, a specific blue collar trade. And so he has joined a national association related to this blue collar trade, and like plumbers, electricians. It's not either of those, but for example, that's the category I'm talking about. And then he has aspired to really take a deep dive into that given industry. And so he gets lots of referrals through his membership in that national association. And of course, you could always do a revenue share back with the referral source, like we started our conversation with today. Dion's asking about going to healthcare providers, and that is fine as well. So if you want to take a specific industry niche, then what I would do is I would research the associations and organizations that service that niche. I would join that organization or association, and then maybe even look at being able to do something with them strategically. Now, on a much simpler note, here's what any of you could do. You could join a local chamber of commerce, and almost every chamber of commerce, once you join, you can log in, you can see a directory, but not only the directory that the public sees, but more detailed information, usually including email addresses of the other chamber members. And you could set up with most chambers at no cost what's called a hot deal, a member to member hot deal. And I can even try to pull one up here. So let me do that. And then that is an excellent way. Give me just a second here, and we will show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to share the page again. So I randomly pulled up the Galveston, Texas Regional Chamber of Commerce. And so on their hot deal page, you can go in and put in hot deals. So right now, the only member of the whole chamber that's done a hot deal is Holiday Inn, which I know is not a great example, but the bottom line is, and we can look up other hot deals. We can look up Dallas Chamber hot deals. Let's see how that works for us. So here's hot deals. No, that didn't work. Hot deals with the Grand Prairie Chamber of Commerce. Now, this is a little better example. So here's the Grand Prairie, Texas Chamber of Commerce. And so by being a member, you can post hot deals. It's meant to be like a member to member discount. So here we have apartments that have a special. So they're saying, hey, if you're another chamber member, you can get a special deal. Same with, looks like going to a movie, you can get a promotional deal. Here for Arts Council, here a roofing special, here a discount on smoothies. The bottom line is you can enter in a hot deal that is for the credit boost. And so maybe you're offering some sort of promotion, price-wise or otherwise, and then other chamber members see this and they see it as an extra benefit. And a lot of times the chambers of commerce will push these deals out through their newsletters, through emails, through blast, and so forth. So yes, in summary, Dion, working with organizations and targeting key industries makes sense. And you can also do it a little bit more generically by joining a chamber of commerce and posting hot deals. But certainly there are associations and organizations that have unique relationship similar to this. So let's try the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and we'll pull them up, and let's see if they have some hot deals or something similar to that. Most organizations and associations will have some promotional relationships where they help promote out to their membership. And maybe we don't have one here. It's not too obvious. They used to have a deal with UPS, for example, trying to get you to ship through them. But the bottom line is, yes, Dion, working through organizations to reach their membership is a smart way to go. Okay, who else has questions on Credit Boost? Who else doesn't understand what it is, how it works, how you get paid, what the clients pay, the value proposition? Because this is a really big deal. And I'll tell you that we're seeing that over 30% of clients that come into the Credit Boost are turning around and then enrolling in the Access to Capital program, because we let them enroll in the Credit Boost if that's their first step. But then it's real easy to ask, great, thank you for enrolling in the Credit Boost program. You're on your way. Let me ask you now, what would you do with better credit? And so now you're listening to them because they have some idea, because they have some carrot, some reason why they care about having better credit. Want to buy a home? Oh, great. Want to buy a car? Awesome. I want to start or grow a business? Jackpot. Did you know that we have our Access to Capital program? No upfront cost, guarantees a minimum of $100,000 capital raise, and there's no risk to you. You can be no minimum credit score to enroll, no minimum time in business. So if you're good at following up with these clients that you're enrolling in the Credit Boost and just asking them, well, what are you going to use that credit for? They're going to tip you off. And a good number of them are wanting it to be able to access capital to start or grow a business. So then you go ahead, and if you don't have a landing page for it, you scroll down to the bottom, you put their name, email, phone in. And in this case, you say, I'm interested in accessing capital to start or grow a business. You send that, and then we enroll them in the Access to Capital program, no upfront cost. Now you know you're going to be making even more revenue from that same client relationship because you're paid off the capital raise. And yes, David, we pay out monthly for our affiliates. Okay, so that was an important point we slid in there at the end. Most credit, well, I don't want to say most, many Credit Boost clients will also become an Access to Capital client, because you're going to plug them into this system. We'll get them contracted in Credit Boost. We'll get that started right away. And then you just follow up. Hey, Mary, thanks again for enrolling in Credit Boost. I know it's going to work out great for you. I just want to make sure I understand, what was your goal for better credit? And they're usually going to say one of three things: buy a home, buy a car, or start or grow a business. If it's a home or a car, we don't sell homes, we don't sell cars. But if it has anything related to a business, then you just turn around and say, well, we might as well go ahead and get you plugged in to the Access to Capital program, grant subsidized, no upfront cost, $100,000 guarantee. It dovetails nicely. Let's go ahead and get you plugged in. What do you say? And Mary's going to say, well, hell yeah, that sounds great. Who has any questions about Credit Boost, which is our topic today, how to promote it, best practices, anything regarding Credit Boost? So again, that's not all that we do, but that's our lesson today, is using Credit Boost. Credit Boost can be a lead generator for your Access to Capital or even Capital Ready 3.0. It can also be a standalone. You know that you're going to generate on average $500 for referring each prospect into Credit Boost. You know, it's so, I'll kind of close on this. We so often run into people that are kind of, woe is me, you know, I lost my job, or my small business is suffering because of the pandemic. I don't have any money. Well, you have access to money. Promote the credit boost program. There's so many people that need better credit. There's no upfront cost, and it pays out an average of $500 per client. Just refer in 2 clients a week and earn an extra, on average, $1,000 a week. There's no reason people should be broke. They just simply need to be able to solve someone's problem. And that's what you and I do. We solve people and small business owners' problems by helping them improve their credit, on average 100 points in 30 to 60 days. So now in many cases, they'll qualify for the home or even the apartment, or for the car loan, or for the business loan. And so just never be dismayed when you run into people that say, well, I don't have any money, I'm broke. I don't have the money for the commercial address for my business, so it seems credible. I don't have money to do this. I don't have money to do that. Well, then fix it. You've got to find some way to generate income. This may be the right answer. Maybe they'd rather go deliver DoorDash. It's up to them. But if they would like, they can become a credit literacy educator for next to nothing and start generating an adult income. All right, so Victor's got a question. Let's see if I can answer it. So what I said is wonderful. Thank you, Victor. Example, what it does, how much client pays, how much he gets paid. Question is, where does this information all come together? Well, I guess I don't know the answer to that, Victor. I mean, it's relatively simple. We have a unique proposition to help people with a problem, and the problem is low credit. We're not credit repair, but we're credit boost. It works. They have no upfront cost. They only pay based upon results. And so what we need to do is pull from our inner marketing self and go start promoting this, because there's so many people that have a need that we can help. And so I think where it all comes together, Victor and others, is we need to drive in volume. Some of you are really good at it. Some of you are driving in insane volume. We'll probably enroll 300 people in Credit Boost this week. But there's 350 million Americans, and a good half have damaged credit. So that there's over 100 million prospects out there. And then when what you're offering is something A, that's credible, and B, has no advanced cost, many people are going to say, yes, I'll give it a try. So it comes down to, some of you are good marketers, some of you aren't so much. It's okay, even if you're not a good marketer, because you don't have to sell anything, right? All you're doing is promoting and dropping in leads. But the wonderful thing, as I've described earlier in today's conversation, even if you're a piss poor marketer, just start communicating with key influencers, referral sources, and allow them to refer their prospects to you, and just do some sort of simple revenue share on the side with them. Give them $1 or $2 per point increase. You're still keeping the majority of it, and they're frankly doing the work, filling your funnel. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to visit today. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help you. Bye-bye.